The BTC rally continues again today. The miners are up big after that small dip yesterday. I feel like we are in a buy the dip, sell the rip sort of environment right now, at least for the time being. Welcome back, traders. It's an afternoon episode of Trade Cave today. Let's take a look at Bitcoin, and then I'm going to talk about CleanSpark a little bit. And I might touch on a few others, but this is going to be a pretty short video, I think, today. Anyways, let's take a look at the Bitcoin action for today. You can see we got this big, tall, bullish green candle forming today. There's still a few hours left on that, but man, we went and touched 52,000 today. That's amazing. I feel like we're going to get up into this resistance here before too long, which is the resistance set at near the top of the move before. I mean, we're not too far off from previous all-time highs here, which is crazy because we haven't even gotten to the halving before. I feel like a timeline for Bitcoin to have a blow off top here is coming a little faster than I anticipated, than any of us really anticipated. And I think that's because institutional money is getting its dirty fingers in our sandbox over here. So I mean, it's a good thing because we like making money, but it's a scary thing because what we've come to generally expect from the market may not be what we get. So keep your eyes out for a squirrely Bitcoin here in the future, in the near future, and be ready for what we expected to happen next year, or to happen much sooner, possibly. Now that doesn't mean it's going to, and I'm not predicting this is absolutely going to happen, and this is not a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. It's simply my opinion about the involvement of much larger institutions than in previous cycles, and much bigger flows of money coming in than before. Like, we might see our timeline jumped up by a year, possibly. Like, and that'd be cool. I would absolutely welcome getting richer faster. But it's, it's a little scary, so I'm just keeping my eyes open. Anyways, the Lunar New Year rally is continuing. We went from 45,000 up to $52,000 today. We're hanging out just around 51.6 right now. I mean, we get much more of enough. We if we get up for not just another few $1,000s, that's $10,000 in a week on Bitcoin. That's going to take us right into this resistance zone up here between 55,000 and 60,000. So that would be pretty friggin' cool. I'd be very, very excited about that. I think we're getting into this channel here. Let me see here. We're back in this one. Yeah, we are back in this one spot right there. And in fact, we're going past this one right here. So we're back in this upward ascending channel right here from back in December, and we're actually kind of getting outside of it. I mean, if I could stretch it to the highest point of that, and we're just right at the, actually, I'll leave it there because it meets perfectly with it. So yeah, we're back in that channel. We might see some back testing down here to the middle here, perhaps, or maybe it'll just keep raging on. I don't know. I think that Lunar New Year effect is really giving us some amazing price action this week and probably next week too. Remember, that ends next week, February 22nd, I believe. 22nd, 23rd, or no, 22nd for us because yeah, 22nd, 23rd, somewhere around there. We'll see an end to that Lunar New Year seasonality. So keep your mind aware of that. Mark it on your calendar. Don't just feel like we're gonna go, up and to the right forever. That could come to an end, but I could also be wrong, and it could just shoot up to $100,000 right the day after that. So I mean, all these things are in play. But Bitcoin's having a fantastic day, which means I'm having a fantastic day, which I hope means you're having a fantastic day. Anyways, let's take a look at CleanSpark now. So CleanSpark, what is going on with CleanSpark? My little drawing here didn't quite happen. I think that I'm not saying it still can't happen, but I think the timeline here is going to be shifted over, obviously. So I'm thinking more like, whoop, there we go. Maybe something like here. I still want to see it. Here, I'll redraw it. I still want to see this come down and retest the top of this move here. Maybe do a little bounce up to the bottom of this area before breaking through it again and coming down. I do want to see that. There's a reason I want to see that. Like, I want to see it come through some of these gaps and then stop there and then bounce back up, just like with my arrows here. So yeah, I'll leave those there. I want to see that happen. And there's a reason I want to see that specifically happen. And The reason for that is on the daily chart, if we go to the daily, okay, for one, before we go anywhere, I'd like to talk about today's candle. Today's candle is a red doji. That's very indecisive, especially the way that it's got this small little body and two long wicks on either side. That is an extremely indecisive doji candle. That is a little scary. We're a little down in post market. Now, that doesn't mean tomorrow's going to be a red or green day. It doesn't really mean anything other than the market doesn't know where it wants to take clean spark. This is an extremely indecisive candle, and that concerns me because that means when the market does decide which direction it's going to go there fast. And I don't know what I want more. If I want it to keep going up more to 20 or if I wanted to come back down to 10 so I can buy more. I'm not sure exactly. I mean, I'll take either way. Honestly, at this point, I'll take either way and I'll be happy. But I do want to see it back test at least down to 1350. And the reason for that is that's the previous cycle high. I'd like to see it come down at least near it. It doesn't need to touch it, but get near it and then start going back up again. So we can get a bit of a liquidity build to get up and past 20. Like if we go up and tap 20 right now, I have zero confidence it's going to go through that because there's not enough liquidity built up. There aren't enough sellers soaked up into the price action to push it up and get that momentum to go up, to build that confidence in the buyers. Just like all this move down here. So from the top here on December 27th, all the way to the bottom here on January 19th, that was all just building liquidity so it would have the momentum to just sweep up here. It's like that's what was going on here. Just building liquidity, building liquidity. And once enough liquidity was built, we did a little pop up, one last liquidity grab on that handle, and then popped off. Like that's how the market likes to do it. It likes to build liquidity and then take off. If you get this baseless launch, it runs out of steam quick. Like it goes real fast and it's very impressive, but when it hits any type of strong resistance, it's done. And I think 20 would be that psychological level at this point. Now, watch me be wrong. Watch it just shoot up to 25 tomorrow. But that's what I'm looking for. And if we look at this in the past, so let's look at the past. Now, past performance does not predict future outcomes in the stock market or really in anything else. But we can get a hint as to what may occur by looking in the past. So if we look back here, this is the July high right here at 759. Do you notice anything about the price action after this high here? Well, one, we got that big liquidity build all the way down through October before it started coming up. And then we got one last liquidity snag here before launch. But after it went back up over that price, look how much it just sliced right through it, right past it. Big gap right past it. Actually, does that look familiar here, perhaps? Right over here with this one? We gapped right up to it, stayed there for 2, 3 days, and then another gap right past it. No pause, no holding, none of that nonsense. I mean, we went way, way higher before we came back down again. But when we came back down to this price to test it, we didn't stop there. We also just went right past it to our low and then started moving again. So if we don't come back test this, when price does collapse, I don't think it's going to stop there. I don't think this will act as any type of support. I think it'll just slice right through it, come back down probably to the top of this ascending channel down here around like the higher mid nines or so, and then find a base there and then start moving up again. So like the reason I want to see it back tested is to create support, to build support in this area to make me feel confident that when price comes back to here, that it may bounce and reverse back up. I do have that confidence in this range here, between the 10 to $9 range. I have that confidence here because there is some built-in support right there with this little formation of candles here, this one over here in January, and then also this one at the end of January at the bottom of that support. None of that really exists here at this $13 level right now. And if we come back to it, I think just like when we came back to that 7, we didn't really hang out there. We just went right past it down to 638. I mean, we didn't stay there long, but we went right past it, which could have definitely scared a lot of people out of their position and then went up from there. It's just like before too. Let's see here. Is that a similar thing going on over here? Let's have a look. See this high here? Yeah, you can see this one had a lot more support back here. And then when we came back to it, guess what? We didn't just slice right through it. We kind of played around at that level a bit before breaking down further. That doesn't mean, yeah, having support doesn't mean it's definitely going to stop there, but it gives you a level of confidence that if you buy there, you might not lose a whole bunch of money. Because nothing's guaranteed, not in the market, not in anything. So anyways, that's what I'm looking at right now with Clean Spark. I hate this candle up here. This floating, lonely doji, small body doji up here at the top of this chart. That scares me. I don't like that. That feels bearish. Now that doesn't mean that it is. I mean, of course, feelings aren't facts, but I just really hate the look of this thing. It's just like feels like the star on top of a tree, and it's got to form the other part of that tree here on the way down. That's what I'm feeling like when I see that. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Let's see what marathon looks like real quick. Marathons is at least marathons is green, and we haven't taken out the previous high yet, which if we follow the same trajectory as Clean Spark, and it has been so far in terms of creating the same formation, getting very similar gap ups, we could expect that Mara might actually take out this high pretty soon, and that'd be very exciting. But I don't think that'll be long lived. I think that we will come back to test this area around 25, even all the way down to $23 again. I do think that at some point we'll probably retest, like, this little box down here around 1920 for if not just a day or so, it could be that long, that short, excuse me. But that's what I'm looking at there. Let's take a look at Bit Digital. Bit Digital is pretty exciting here. We're doing pretty good here. Like I mentioned before, this was a double bottom here. We have confirmed above it, and we have, a true confirmation candle today here. I would like to see a little more build upward here before I'm super confident in it. I mean, they're all following a lot of the same trajectory, and as long as Bitcoin is on this tear, Bitcoin miners will be on a tear. Like that's just how it's going to be. Like Bitcoin was up 4% today, Bit Digital is up 10%. Clean Spark was what, 12%? At one point it was like 18% for a short period. Yeah, 12%. Mara, same. It's the same sort of thing. Um, but some Bitcoin miners, sometimes they diverge from Bitcoin, and when they do, that's when this sort of analysis is a little more important. And I think that um, tickers like CleanSpark and Mara and Bitfarms, they are more at the top of their range in terms of they've made a bullish chart pattern. They've completed that pattern, and they have either taken out their last cycle high or they're very close to doing so. And I expect that if they were to diverge, they would diverge down probably. Whereas Bit Digital is showing a little more strength. It's closer to the bottom of its chart. If it starts to show divergence from Bitcoin, it might show it in an upward fashion. That's all I'm mentioning when I say I think Bit Digital looks more bullish than some other minor charts right now. So that's all I've got for you today. Keep holding on to that ride that we're enjoying here from the Lunar New Year bump in Bitcoin. Keep an eye on your charts. Watch out for anything suspicious that may appear, and please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a profitable day.